If you're a homeowner and you're thinking paying thousands and thousands of dollars in real estate commission is ridiculous, this video is for you. Maybe you're thinking, why can't I just sell my home myself? And honestly, fair question. People have used ChatGPT to sell their homes. Yes, recently a man did it in Florida. Within 72 hours, he had 5 competing offers. For sale by owners are posting homes on social media. They're putting on signs. They are making private sale websites. And every few months, someone makes headlines because they sold their home without a realtor. So yes, you can sell your own home. But let's get something straight right away. Selling privately is not just putting a sign on the lawn. It's not posting on Facebook and waiting for a buyer to show up. You are now the pricing strategist, marketer, showing coordinator, negotiator, contract manager, risk manager, and that problem solver. So if you are a FSBO or for sale by owner, here are the things you better get right before you put your home on the market. And yes, I have a free FSBO seller support kit. You can download it. Just click the link in the description and take that guidelines. But watch this video first because I'm going to hit the big ones right now. Before we even get into FSBO, let me clarify something very important. All real estate commissions are negotiable. There is no fixed rate in the industry, so go ahead and interview agents with confidence. There is no mandatory 4%. There is no mandatory 5%. There is no official standard rate that every seller has to pay. You, as the seller, you interview the agent, understand what they offer, and then negotiate what makes sense for you. But here is where most sellers start with the wrong question. They ask, how much do you charge? That's not the best first question. The better question is, what exactly do you do for that fee? Because those are two different conversations. One agent may charge less and do almost nothing. Another agent may charge more but bring a full strategy, preparation, cleaning, staging, pre-launch marketing, buyer targeting, negotiation, paperwork management, and the deal protection. So don't just compare commission, compare values. Here's my pro tip. Even if you are thinking of selling a home on your own, interview 3 local agents. It costs you nothing. You are not obligated to hire them, but you gain a lot of insight. It gives you a chance to understand what professional agents actually do, what they include, what they don't include, and how they plan to protect your price. For example, before I put up a for sale sign in your lawn, there may be already a lot of work happening. Complimentary home clearing services, before photos, decluttering strategy, packing supplies I bring to you, complimentary exterior tidy up, soft staging items, professional photos, drone shots, cinematic videos, floor plans, coming soon paid ads. I mean, you name it. Pre-launch promotion to the Realtor network. By the time the sign goes on the lawn, I could easily be out $2,000, $2,500 into the listing before even the property hits the market. Then after the listing goes live, now comes the actual marketing campaign. My paid ads, buyer follow-ups, agent outreach, showing management, offer strategy, negotiation, contract management. I mean, there is a lot of value an agent brings. So again, don't just ask how much do you charge. Ask, what do I get for that fee? Because commission is negotiable, but value is what you are actually buying. Now let's start with the first major FSBO mistake. Pricing. This is where sellers can lose the money they thought they were going to save. If you underprice your home by $30,000 to save $25,000 in commission, you did not win, you lost. And if you overprice the home and it sits on the market for 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, and then you start reducing the price, buyers smell blood. They start asking, what's wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold? Maybe the seller is getting desperate, and now your negotiation power starts disappearing. Online estimates are not a pricing strategy. Neighborhood averages are not enough. Looking at one house down the street that sold high is not enough. You need to understand sold comparables, active competition, condition, layout, lot size, upgrades, school catchment, buyer demand, timing, and what is happening in your exact micro market. In my local market, 2 homes can be 5 streets apart and perform very differently. One side of a neighborhood can feed into a different school. One layout may be in the high demand. One street may back onto the hydro lines, commercial property, train tracks, or a busier road. One house may be renovated properly. Another may look renovated but have permit issues or old mechanicals or waterproof issues. Pricing is not guessing. Pricing is the single most important strategy. And if you are selling privately, you need to be brutally honest about your home. Not what you love about it, not what you spent on it, not what you need to net, what the market will actually pay for it. Next is preparation. A lot of private sellers think, well, the buyers can see the potential. No, most buyers do not buy potential. They buy emotion, they buy confidence, they buy what feels easy. That means the home needs to show well. Declutter it, deep clean it, fix the obvious little things. Touch up paint, replace burnout bulbs, clean windows, improve your curve appeal, tidy the exterior, remove all the distractions. Make the home feel larger, brighter, cleaner, and better maintained. And this is where sellers often waste money too. They spend money on the wrong things. Not every renovation gives you a return. Sometimes you don't need a full kitchen renovation. Sometimes you need a painting, lighting, cleaning, better furniture placement, and of course the professional photography. Sometimes the exterior matters more than the basement. Sometimes the first 10 seconds when a buyer walks in matter more than the feature you personally love. A good agent should not just say less listed. A good agent should tell you what is worth doing, what is not worth doing, and whether your money gives you the highest return. If you're selling privately, you need to make those decisions yourself. Now let's talk marketing, because this is where a lot of for sale by owners sellers underestimate the job. A lawn sign is not a marketing strategy. A Facebook post is not a marketing strategy. Posting in a local Facebook group hoping someone sees it is not a marketing strategy. Marketing means getting your home in front of the right buyers at the right time with the right message in a way that creates urgency. You need professional photos, obviously, videos, floor plans, strong listing copy, online exposure, social media, buyer targeting, agent network strategy, pre-launch strategy. Then you should have an amazing follow-up system, and ideally you want multiple qualified buyers looking at the home at the same time, because one buyer quietly negotiating you is not the same as several serious buyers competing for it. And this is where exposure matters. The goal is not just to get views. The goal is to create qualified demand. There is a big difference. 1,000 random clicks do not matter if nobody books a showing. A viral post does not matter if the buyers are not qualified. Marketing is not just attention. Marketing is conversion. Can you attract the right buyer? Can you get them through the door? Can you create urgency? Can you protect your price? This is the marketing job. Now let's talk about showings. When you sell privately, you become the receptionist, the salesperson, the security guard, and the negotiator. You are taking calls, responding to messages, booking appointments, confirming times, answering questions, letting strangers into your home, and trying to figure out who is serious and who is just curious. Now, everyone who wants to see your home is not qualified. Some people are just nosy. Some people are testing the market. Some people have not spoken to even a lender. Some people have a house to sell first. Some people are looking for a deal because they know you are private, and now you have to manage access to your property. You need to protect valuables, your medications, jewelry, financial documents, personal information, and you need to be careful what you say during the showing, because every buyer question is not just a question. Sometimes it is a negotiation research. How long have you lived here? Why are you moving? Have you already bought something? Are you flexible on price? How long has it been listed? Any issues with the basement? Any offers here? They may sound the casual questions, but the answers can give the buyers leverage. So if you are selling privately, you need to be ready, be polite, be helpful, but do not not negotiate against yourself in your own kitchen. Now, this is the part a lot of for sale by owner do not think about. You are thinking, I'm selling privately because I want to save commission. Fair enough. But when a buyer walks into your house and realizes there is no realtor involved on the seller side, guess what they're thinking? They're thinking, perfect, the seller doesn't have to pay full real estate fees. I want that savings too. Chuckle, huh? You see how the psychology works? It's not just the homeowner trying to save money, the buyer is trying to save money too. So now two people are trying to capture the same saving. You want to keep it, the buyer wants it as a discount. So wear your hard hat, be ready to negotiate, because buyers may come in and start ripping apart your price, then your kitchen, then your roof, then your furnace, then your windows, then your basement, then your flooring, then your appliances, the closing date, the inclusion, the rental line, everything becomes part of the negotiation. And this is where emotions get involved, because it is your home. You raised your family there, you renovated it, you planted the garden, you remember what you paid for the kitchen, you remember what the basement cost, you remember the memories. But the buyer doesn't care about your memories. The buyer is looking at risk, cost, and leverage. So if you are selling privately, you need to keep your emotions out of the negotiation, because the buyer is not insulting your life, they are negotiating a purchase, and those are two different things. Now let's say you get an offer. Exciting, right? But this is where the real work starts. Do not just look at the price. The highest offer is not always the best offer. You need to look at the whole structure. What is the deposit? When is the deposit due? Where is the deposit being held? Are there any conditions? Financing, home inspection? What about the condition of sale of buyer's property? What about lawyer's review? The status certificate condition if it is a condo? What is the closing date? Are they asking for appliances? Are they asking for furniture? Are they asking for repairs? Are they asking for credits? Are there rental items? Are they assuming the hot water tank or not? Is there a furnished rental, water softener, security system? Are there solar panels? Is there a lease or contract attached to the property? A clean $1 million offer may be better than a messy $1,020,000 offer. If the higher offer has weak financing, long condition, a low deposit, and a buyer who may not close. So negotiation is not just the price, it is certainty, it is timing, it is knowing which offer can actually close. That's the most important part. Now let's talk about the deposit money. This is a big one. In a normal realtor involved transaction, the deposit often gets delivered to the listing brokerage and it is held in the brokerage trust account. But if you are selling privately, where is the deposit going? Your personal bank account, your lawyer's trust account, the buyer's lawyer, some other arrangement? Who confirms it was received? What happens if the buyer does not deliver the deposit on time? What happens if the deal collapses? Who releases the deposit and under what conditions? Do both parties have to sign a release? What if one side refuses? This is not casual money. The deposit is part of the legal structure of the transaction. And if you are selling privately, you need to figure this out before you accept an offer, not after. Because once emotions are high and the deal is already in motion, it is not the time to Google how deposit is going to be handled. Have the deposit process clear. Have your lawyer involved. Know the timelines. Know who is holding the money. Know what happens if things go sideways. Now, time to talk about contracts. This is where I want you to pay attention. The agreement of purchase and sale is not paperwork. It is the deal. The deal is not what someone said at the showing. The deal is not what was texted casually. The deal is not what you assumed. The deal is what is written, signed, accepted, and enforceable. You need to understand that. The purchase price, deposit, irrevocable time, completion date, title search, inclusion, exclusion, chattels, fixtures, rental items, the conditions, notices, representations and warranties, adjustments, vacant possession clauses, HST if applicable, and what happens if one party does not perform. If something is not written properly, you may not be protected. If a condition is vague, you may have a problem. If an inclusion or exclusion is unclear, you may have a fight before closing. If rental equipment is not handled properly, you may have a buyer dispute. If the closing date does not work, you may have a serious issue. So do not treat the contract like a formality. The contract is the deal. And if you are selling it privately, have your lawyer review the contract before you sign, not after you are already stuck with it. Here comes the important one. Let's talk about disclosure and risk. If you sell privately and something goes wrong later, the buyer is not going to say, "Oh, it's okay, they didn't use a realtor." No, they may come after you. So you need to be careful about what you know, what you say, what you advertise, and what you disclose. The basement leaks, water penetration, foundation issues, roof problems, electrical issues, plumbing problems, renovations, permits, additions, rental equipment. Even the easements, boundary issues, shared driveways, the condo documents, if there is special assessments, insurance claims, flooding, anything material that could affect the buyer's decision matters. Now, I'm not your lawyer and this is not my legal advice, but the point is simple. Do not hide known issues. Do not guess. Do not exaggerate. Do not make claims you cannot support, and keep records. A licensed realtor has personal obligation, brokerage oversight, compliance requirements, and most importantly, they carry errors and omission insurance. As a private seller, you do not have that same professional layer sitting between you and the transaction. That does not mean you cannot sell privately. It means you need to be careful about documenting and properly advised. Do not wait until you have an offer in your hand to start looking for a lawyer. Have your real estate lawyer already before you go live. Ask them, can they review an offer before you sign? Can they help with deposit handling? What documents do they need? How quickly can they respond? What should you not sign without legal advice? What information should you collect before listing? Because once an offer comes in, timing matters. There may be an irrevocable deadline. The buyer may want a fast response. You may feel pressure, and pressure is where mistake happens. So get your lawyer involved early. So now, should you sell your home yourself? Maybe, if you understand pricing, marketing, showing, buyer screening, negotiation, deposit handling, contracts, disclosures, and the legal risk, and you have the time and emotion discipline to manage it, yes, you can do it on your own. But do not walk into $1 million transaction with a lawn sign, a Facebook post, and vibes. This is not a strategy. That is hope. And hope is not how you protect your equity. If you are serious about selling privately, I put together a free FSBO seller support kit. Download it below. It walks you through the major steps: pricing, preparation, marketing, showings, offers, deposits, conditions, and the questions you should ask before you accept an offer. And even if you still want to sell on your own, interview 3 local agents. It costs you nothing. Not because you have to hire them, because you should understand what they actually do. And if halfway through this process you realize, okay, this is way too much, way too complicated, reach out to me. 647-818-7373. No pressure, no hard pitch. And I have a large realtor network. No matter where you live in the United States and Canada, I can find you someone who can guide you properly. And if you are in the GTA, we can talk about your options, full service, strategy support, or whether selling privately still makes sense for your situation. Selling privately can save you thousands in commission, but only if you protect your price, protect your contract, protect yourself. Because the goal is not just to avoid paying commission. The goal is to walk away with the most money and less stress, and a deal that actually closes. This is the difference. I'm Realtor Roshan, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more videos just like this. See you again.